The want, the will in this country to help young racers make it on the international stage is immense on a per capita basis, including the Motorsport New Zealand Academy, which is big on identifying and equipping young racers to hopefully be stars of the future. 2 drivers in the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Championship benefiting from this support include James Penrose and Liam Skeets.
The Elite MotorSport Academy is run every year, so they get I think it's 8 young drivers through, and they kind of show them, take them through everything that's not driving specific related, but everything else you need to have to be a successful racing car driver and take it forward as a career. So we did a lot of nutrition, sport psychology. We did a lot of physical training as well. And yeah, all sorts of kind of, I've also got physiotherapy as well. So we did a lot of different kind of things, a lot of, how you kind of tackle the weekend with your mind, with, making sure you've got all the right processes in place and everything. It doesn't start, a few days before, everything starts, weeks in advance. So yeah, it was really helpful having those providers and just being able to lean on them for a bit of advice once we're out of the camp week. So yeah, and it's actually useful. We're even able, now that we're forming the relationships, we're able to keep in touch with them as well.
I went to the Elite MotorSport Academy. I just turned 15, so it was a couple of years ago now. And it taught me the importance of all aspects of motorsport. Prior to going to the academy, I really thought driving was the most important aspect, but going there and learning about, the media, sponsorship, your nutrition, your training, it's so vital now that I realise how all those play a part into your performance on race day.
It's definitely not a holiday, for sure. A lot of it's, you're starting at 7 a.m. in the morning, you're finishing at sometimes 9 o'clock at night, but it's a very well-structured program, and I took a lot away from it, for sure.
It's been super helpful.
Delighted to be joined here in the pavilion now by an old colleague in Dave Turner, who I've worked with very successfully on the television side for many years. He is a senior trustee of the Academy. Can we start by talking about, unfortunately, COVID has knocked the kind of cycle around a little bit, but we are on track and a great chance for people who perhaps might be in the paddock here this weekend or watching to put their hand up, isn't there?
Yeah, COVID certainly, it knocked everyone around, didn't it? It was just one of those things, and it's the first time in the history of the Academy that we actually haven't had a camp here, but it was a decision that we took early on, and it paid off in the end because we would never have been able to do it. But you move on from that, and it's good. And James Penrose was the first graduate to win the entire year straight after COVID as well. And we're back in, and we've got a class in it at the moment. So yeah, there's lots of positives that you take from it. And the positive thing is that we're giving these young New Zealanders, male, female, rally, circuit, wherever they come from, a platform that they can't otherwise get.
Talk about, for people watching, as we look at James getting set for race 2, very focused, very concentrated there for race 2 of the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Championship. Great to see that young man having such a good outing last weekend at Manfield.
Yeah, he's such a nice kid, eh? Like the thing about it is when he came to the camp, he was one of those people that you instantly took a liking to. Not that you don't on any of them, but it was fantastic to see him race at Manfield and win like that. And I talked to him on the phone straight after the race was over, and you guys were still on air, but it was like you could see the relief of the fact that he had actually nailed one.
Yep.
And I think there's more to come.
Good. What about some other names that people may not be aware of in the broader public that are watching that have come through the Academy?
Well, there's 140 odd people that have gone through the Academy since it's existed, and there's 32% of all of that have gone on to have a full-time position in motorsport, earning a living from it. So if I mention the names like Van Gisbergen, Evans, Cassidy, Bamba, they're all people that have gone through the Academy. But we look at the success of a graduate, maybe that they've gone on to do other things in the sport. And one of the current trustees was also a graduate of the Academy years ago, Alistair Wooten, and he's now a personal driver trainer. So he still has an association with the sport. So in that sense, the Academy's done its thing as well. There's a lot out there, but our success rate is based on the fact that these guys have gone on with maybe some of the knowledge that we've given them to succeed in the sport as well.
The idea, I guess, is to make a complete athlete, a complete sports person for that. I mean, you've obviously got a lot of experience on the media side, for example. So what kind of things do they go through? James talked about how long the days are, how intense they are. You cover lots of things, don't you?
Yeah, well, the average day for the athlete during the actual camp week. So the year is broken into a cycle. There's the camp week, which is the 7 days in Dunedin, and then they are under our wing for another 11 months. So it is an intense 11 months. So they get everything from nutrition to athlete life management, media, strength and conditioning from a physical point of view, the art of sponsorship, so the management side of the sport as well. They get a lot, and they're getting that from people who train Olympic and Commonwealth Game athletes. So it's not just someone we drag off the street to go, oh, well, there you go, you can train these kids for us. These are people who specialise in training the Highlanders, the All Blacks. They were in the gym James's year with Holly Robinson, and then a couple of months later she went on to be in Tokyo and win Olympic medals. So, that's the pedigree of people that are around.
I love the fact that in all that time, the amount of athletes that have come through it, you haven't stopped on a set formula. You've gone, let's see what other sports are doing. Let's keep evolving here.
Well, the academy continues to evolve because the sport continues to evolve. So a few years ago, we never had, data management in part of the program. And Stephen Giles, who's running, the Toyota team here, he comes down and teaches the guys how to read data. Now, it may not apply necessarily to some of the rally people we have or things like that, but we adapt that program to suit them as well. So it's constantly evolving in line with the sport.
And as is the way with motor racing generally, you bleed into it a competitive element to the camp too, don't you?
Yeah, we do, yeah. So the camp is divided into two groups there's 8 athletes that make the camp, divided into 2 groups of 4. So we play a lot of team challenges within that. But the idea is that brings out some of the competitive spirit that you'd see like you do on track here today. It's about making sure that they know about pressure.
Before we let you go, mate, very importantly, it's about the people behind the scenes. You're one element of this. What about some of the other people helping behind the scenes and those that you might perhaps draft in, like Stephen Giles that you talked about?
We have a fabulous amount of tutors. They're just phenomenal people that come in, and as I said, they're of Olympic standards, so they're fantastic people. Can't thank Otago Academy of Sport for what they do for that. And then the fellow trustees. The president of the sport, Wayne Christie, always stands, or the president is always the chair of the trust, and then Lyle Williamson, Ali Wooten, and now Richard Giltrap and myself are the trustees.
Great lineup there. Before we let you go, how can people that perhaps want to take part find out more about it, and when is the next one coming up?
Next camp is July this year. Interviews are happening in March of this year. Applications are on the Motorsport New Zealand site. Get on there, get in. We generally have probably 60 or 70 applications to interview 30 to get 8. So get in there now.
Congratulations, mate. Thank you. Nice to catch up.
Yep.
There he is, DT, informing us about a really great program, as I said in the introduction, that is helping to equip and prep our champions of the future. A commercial break in our coverage, and when we come back, we'll gear up for race 2 of the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Championship. Don't go away.